crap, man. They were wearing all their grunge gear and hip hop gear and changing the color of their hair and stuff. And that was all. What are you guys doing, man? You kids, you guys are wild. And they wanted to start a band called Taste of Garlic, and I was like, that's the most ridiculous name I've heard yet. Yes, I want to play. Yes, I will get into that. I was really heavy into James Brown at the time, so I was trying to imitate that real chicken scratching style, and the drummer did a pretty good job trying to make a funky beat.
We didn't worry about getting signed to a major label. We didn't worry about going on tour. All we wanted to do was rock out, get high, get laid, whatever, and just party with our friends. And that's what we did, and that's what most of the bands were all about. I mean, I don't think most of us really cared about getting famous or whatever.
It was kind of a built-in thing that we had, this whole party hanging out at the house where we practiced, and we just moved the party out of the practice room down to the club. And I think that's the kind of, I think that would be the best way to describe what the shows were like.
We were punk, we were funk, we were rock. We just had everything.
With a crazy, awesome lead singer. I mean, BC, Brian Clemens is, a phenomenal. That guy could just about do anything. Put on a great show, great front man, great band.
So much fun to watch on stage. It wasn't just a lead singer being happy or being sad. It was the 4-foot bongs and the Brent Himes face when he played the guitar, and Jay doing 4 foot high in the air split kicks with a bass on his body. I'm skinny and I can't do that.
People would literally come over and hang out at the house while we're trying to practice and be sitting around in there in the room while we're rocking out. They would all posse up and hop in the back of cars, trucks, whatever, and haul into town and take over Fitzgerald's or wherever it was we were playing.
We came, we just hit that first fucking thing, and the fucking crowd just went ape. People were fucking stage diving.
I think if and when people ever paid attention to the fact that we were on stage at that point, it was because it looked like there was a bunch of people partying together. And I think that sinks into people who are looking for that. Well, it's what party night, what are you gonna do, man? And you go downstairs at Fitzgerald's instead of upstairs, and you can get in there free or something, whatever it was back then. And here's this riot going on. Kids all bouncing off each other, and just random people getting up on stage and grabbing the mic. And that's how they party. Whatever kind of notoriety that gains you, I guess that's cool. And the last thing we're trying to do, I think, is impress anybody. So all that nonsense just translated to, that was ridiculous. Did you see that show? Those guys, man, bunch of weirdos.
Originally, Taste of Garlic had two singers, Brian Clemens and Jason Kuhn, with drummer Brian Holland and Brent on guitar, and they had a different bass player.
The first bass player, for all the talent he did have, it didn't match what we were trying to do as far as that whole funk thing. So we got this guy Jay, who was just straight up punk rock, man. He wore black all the time. He'd always Misfits in the car was rocking when he pulled into the parking lot, and he was very motivated, which I think played a big part in getting us motivated to maybe take this little party a little bit more serious. And hey, let's go out there and do something to impress those people. We're not just playing in front of friends of ours anymore. Now we're playing in front of people never seen before.
In fact, Brent Himes is, by far my favorite guitar player. He just had this vision, and it was totally cool, and I was totally down with it. I learned a lot of stuff from them. And, I thought we rocked, and that's all that mattered to us, that we were just having fun, getting high, playing with our friends.
I mean, I wanted to play in a successful band. I wanted to play in a band that went somewhere and did something. I just didn't have my sights set on going on a world tour or actually making money doing it. I meant by doing something, I meant, that whole bringing the party to the people thing. When a band is up there rocking out and they've got 500 people rocking out with them, that's a thing. That becomes a symbiotic thing, that the audience is just as much a participator as the band is. And that was always very important. I mean, it wasn't going to be I was not going to be satisfied if we kept plugging away, kept playing shows, and it was nothing but our little friends from, up in the Cypress Villas area hanging out. That's not what I want to do. I want to be playing and doing the thing. And I think everything that happened was exactly that.
Funky butt lover.
Why don't you ask me about the bong first? Because my story about that, the way I heard it, here's the way I understood it.
I'll tell you right now, that thing is not fake.
Okay, the thing about the 6-foot bong is, the singer wrote a lyric, had something to do with about blah blah and a 6-foot bong.
We call it a 6-foot bong, but it was really like 4 or 5. It was 5 feet maybe. It's guys always talk about that when they're talking about their junk and they want to make it seem bigger, but it was probably more like 5 feet. Yeah, but they called it the 6-foot bong.
So one of our friends comes to practice, I think, one day, or maybe it was to a show. And he's like, you know what, I gotta get the 6-foot bong. And everybody's like, yeah, right? He goes, no, really, it's like in my car right now. And we're like, dude, get it. And sure enough, he brings in this thing. It's one of those, it's a tube from like a drive-up bank teller where the little carriage goes back and forth. And he took a hacksaw like in the middle of the night one night and just cut that thing off, the whole section, from the top to the little whatever you drive up to. And he had taped the bottom so it looked like a bong base, and then he got some kind of a hot poker or something, put a hole in it, had this hose coming out, he had the carb up here at the top, took this duct tape and made like this little mouthpiece thing. You're supposed to stick your face on that thing. It was functional. It was allegedly the first and only functioning quote-unquote 6-foot bong, at least one that size, and that's very funny. Okay, dude, what are you doing, man? Look at that. That's obnoxious. It's ridiculous, man. And he goes, but it works, which got everybody very excited. And so I think that night, like the night he brought that thing up, he put something in it, in the little chamber. And
we would fill it with real pot at all the shows, and probably a bag or two. We would fill it constantly, and he would come running out from the back with this big bong, and it was hell to fill this thing full of smoke. You would go back there and see these guys just like, it would take like 2-3 people to light this thing because it was just so much, and he would come running out the back and bringing this bong filled with pot
and starts fogging people out on the front row. Just, you watching that? This big blast of smoke right in their face. Haha, very funny.
The 10-foot bong on stage would taste of garlic. I swear it was 10. And getting up there and doing one with all the band.
I thought it would be great is if one time we would get arrested. Well, not me. It wouldn't be cool if I got arrested. But, Brian and Brian were so used to going to jail that, hey, why not let Brian take one for the team and get arrested for the bong? I mean, he was so used to it, but it never happened. And we filled this thing with real pot every show, and it was fun, and the crowd seemed to love it, of course.
That became like, it was like a ride at Disneyland. There would people, where's the 6-foot bong, man? And that thing would come out about, a third, maybe halfway through the set, and gotta administer the bong. Come out and do that. Very funny.
It was a good staple for our show.
Academy Black, I remember